Hey everybody, it's GauntletX and welcome back to some more Magic Arena. Today we're going to be playing another premiere draft of the Powered Arena Cube. Very exciting format where we are playing with a bunch of the most powerful and iconic cards from Magic's history instead of cards from one specific set. You all know the drill by now. Without further ado, let's get into the pack one, pick one. This is honestly not a particularly exciting opening pack for a Powered Cube. No mana accelerants. No really busted cards like Mana Drain or anything crazy like that. I kind of want to roll a Shelldock Isle here. This is a really nice hideaway land where it's going to let you cast something for just 1 mana off of it later in the game. If a library has 20 or fewer cards in it, which is really easy to happen in draft where everybody starts with 40 cards in their deck. So I like the Shelldock Isle here. Liliana's really nice in Reanimator strategies and Find and Control. Persist for Reanimator's good. Some good ramp in green with Birds of Paradise. A little bit of something for everybody here, but nothing that massively stands out. So I'll go for Shelldock on this one. And Shelldock Isle works really well in the same kind of decks that Flash works in. Flash is going to let you cheat a really big creature into play for a split second, and then it's going to sack itself and be gone forever. But you still get to get all of the enter the battlefield and death triggers of that card. So anything like Atraxa that draws a bunch of cards when it hits the board is really good with it. Torsten's even better. Torsten enters the battlefield, draws you a bunch of cards, and then dies and makes a bunch of 1/1s. World Spineworm would die and make a bunch of 5/5s trample or something like that. There's a lot of very good cards for Flash, so grabbing it early is awesome. And again, the same kind of cards you'd want to cheat into play with a Flash would be really good cards to cast for free or for just 1 mana off of Shelldock Isle, so we'll grab Flash. Pick number 3 now. Vaultborn Tyrant is a very good card for Flash and Shelldock Isle, so that looks super reasonable, but we could also just take more blue spells. But I'm just going to grab the Vaultborn Tyrant. If we flash this out, it is going to sack itself, which creates a token copy of it, so we will get a permanent 6/6 with Trample. We'll gain 6 and draw 2 as well. So this is a really good Flash target. And of course, the Shelldock target as well. Pick 4. No blue or green here. We could take Steam Vents for speculative fixing. Snuff Out, speculating on ending up in black as well. This could be a free removal spell if you have a swamp on board, which is very good. Just have access to that. Those are honestly the only cards that I personally get that excited about. Free piece of removal. Speculative Duel. It's a duel with basic land types. I mean, shock lands are great. We could take Steam Vents here. These 3 picks, we're not that far in the draft, but this looks like the kind of deck that would really like a Sneak Attack, which is a red spell. It could also be the kind of deck that's going to play some Reanimator cards, but I've already passed a few of those. So I don't know that we're going to get past too many like black Reanimator cards here. We might be able to like open up a Sneak Attack or get past one. I don't know. I'll take Steam Vents here. The fear of missing out towards red with this Steam Vents. There's an Elvish Mystic if we want to actually like play green, play green. Leovold combos with anything that makes each player shuffle their hand in and draw 7. Your opponent's just not going to draw. They're going to get 1 card back, which is fun. That's if we play green, blue, and black. Not too much else. Like if we want to play something really control-y, go for a Sunfall. I guess Smuggler's Copter fits into a lot of decks. Has fine filler. I'll go for Elvish Mystic here. I could see a deck using Flash, Shelldock, and like Natural Order out of green. There's a green-blue land. Reasonable blue pieces of interaction like Scolding and Tidebinder. Otawara is nice because we can replace an island with that. There is also a Tali, which is fine to flash in because you will cast a card from each player's deck for free, even if it dies immediately. Obviously great to Shelldock it. I'll actually go with Tali here. Okay. Blue, red, green Triome. It's all the 3 colors that we currently are. I do like Virtue Persistence because it's a reasonable little 2-mana removal spell, and if the game goes really long and you manage to make it to 7, it's a win condition too. But I do think it's a bit weaker in Powered Cube than it was in the old Arena Cube. Yeah, I think I just take a Triome here. Pick 8. Phantasmal Image is sick. Plenty of players are cheating stuff in to where you get a 2-mana copy of a really good card, and we are cheating stuff in too. So we'll get a 2-mana copy of a really good card. Taiga is really good fixing if we're playing red and green. It's possible, but right now we're not technically playing any red because we're not going to hardcast a Tali. We might not even be playing green. It's just the one Elvish Mystic right now for something we'd actually be casting in the color. But hey, we're getting the right colors of lands here. That sounds great. I mean, Boomy's like a solid rate for the cost, but by cube standards, I think we just want to make sure we have really good mana for everything we're doing. I'm going to take a land with basic land types over one that doesn't have them so that it's fetchable. Red-green or blue-green? I mean, blue is the most common color in this deck for sure. So we take blue-green over red-green. Caryatid, or 5-color land, Multiversal Passage, or Duelist of the Mind. I mean, Duelist of the Mind's solid in like blue-black Reanimator decks, or decks that have a lot of card draw, so you make this really big and beat in. I don't know how it fits really into like blue-green natural order if that's what we're trying to do. Fresh Start's fine. Or Speculative Triome. I'll go Fresh Start. Have some amount of removal. Territorial Cover will be a 3/3 at worst if we go blue, green, red. Looting could be fine. For a combo-y red deck. Speculative Fetchable Land. Wheel a Tidebinder and a Springheart Nantuko. Crazy. I'm going to take the Tidebinder here. Pack 2, pick 1. Hey, there's World Spine Worm in the same pack as Black Lotus, which you literally can't pass. I'm disappointed I opened a Black Lotus. Who would have thought? Ooh, Woodfall Primus is a really good flash target because it is another one that will remain on the battlefield after it sacks itself. Ulamog doesn't do anything with flash because you put it onto the battlefield, you don't cast it, but Ulamog's very good for Shelldock Isle. The Eldrazi are really good for Shelldock Isle because it counts as casting them, but I think Primus is going to be more consistent because it's good off of either. We could have also taken Urza's Saga because Urza's Saga can tutor for Lotus. It might have been better than Primus, honestly. Wheel of Fortune. I did not take the Leovold. But Wheel of Fortune gets to Shelldock really quickly. There's also just a blue-red duel. Lotus Cobra, fetch. Bahamut's okay with flash. I'm getting to the point, though, where I just have one flash and one Shelldock and 3 good targets already. I don't want to overload myself on good, gigantic cards without more ways to cheat them yet. We really want to find a sneak attack or natural order or something before I'm happy. Worth noting, specifically, natural order only hits green stuff. It's like if we find that specifically as well, then Bahamut will be a bit worse. Green is looking pretty open here, so I wouldn't be surprised if we do manage to get a natural order, but it's never a guarantee. This is a good fetch, but Badger Cub's really good with our Mystic and our Caryatid. It's a ton of mana. We could actually start hardcasting this stuff if it doesn't die to removal. Yeah, I'll go Badger Cub. Speaking of trying to hardcast stuff, maybe we take a Micah Spawn here for just the ramp. Ramp and fixing. Any land in the whole deck. We could also just play Lutri and just have an 8th card in hand all the time. Or take a solid counter spell. These are all good options. We'll just play it kind of safe here and just throw a Lutri in the companion slot for free. Pick 6 for Akkus is kind of wild. We could be an okay upheaval deck with our green mana dorks, but I don't think we're going to be really good at it. The big flaw with Karakas is if you're not a white deck, then it is tapping for colorless mana, but its ability is really, really good. So I think we still run it here. Show and tell. That is like the riskiest way to try to cheat things into play, but it's another way to cheat things into play that we need if we want to take more big stuff. So we're definitely going to lose at least one game where we show and tell and our opponent just plays their own big thing and then just plays a removal spell and attacks. And then it's like, well, rip. That's definitely going to happen. Somebody took the World Spine Worm. Somebody probably drafted the Natural Order or the Sneak Attack then. That's rough. All right. Yeah, if we're not going to get Natural Order, Sneak Attack, we're not going to get probably any more ways to cheat things in here. Somebody could have taken it like banking on getting them, I guess. Should probably get more cheap interaction like Brazen Borrow instead of throwing an Ulamog in here, but we can't show until an Ulamog. It doesn't do anything with Flash, though. Still take it because it's cool. Maybe we'll get Channel because we're in green. You could channel an Ulamog in. So that is something. Curator double green might be a little hard, so I'll just take a Goyf. Here's some card draw. Get the Upheaval if we get a bunch of mana, it works. That will be playable. Hold up. Black Lotus. Brain Freeze. Underworld Breach. I think these cards do something together. Okay. Could take the Wasteland here. It's solid with Badger Molcub. Does make our mana worse. That'll be our second colorless land we're running in a deck that's splashing into red. A 2-color deck splashing into a third. I still kind of want to do it. And it's like we wheel Eye Still Explorer. That's pretty incredible. Dak Fane and Archon are really nice here too, though. Yeah, I'll actually go Archon here. We got that show and tell and the flash. It's better than Ulamog. If we don't get like Channel as well. Play a Nadu in here. I don't really have any combos for it yet, but some of the cards that work really well for it aren't super high picks for anybody else, like the Bristly Bill. Puts a +1/+1 counter on something every time you play a land. The important part is that with Nadu, every time that a land hits the board, you now get to target one of your creatures. So you play a land, target a creature, which triggers a Nadu. You flip the top. If it's a land, you play a land, target a creature, and you just do that as many lands as you hit off the top. Although Tameo search... Yeah, Tameo... Okay. If I'm going to do Black Lotus Brain Freeze on a World Breach, I should probably Tameo to search it over the Nadu here. Because Nadu would be speculating that we're getting a Bristly Bill or the other thingy. Blue-red duel looks nice. Vivi's fine. Boseju's fine. Seer is fine. There's a lot of fine options. Get some more fixing. Put all my lands on the side and see. I'm at 21 cards. Yeah, I'm doing fine. I only need a few more. Formidable Speaker can ditch one of these really big cards if they're stuck in my hand to search for something more relevant. Kind of seems the best out of this pack. We're like Carnosaur off the splash. I'm not going double red on Roku. We're really just blue-green. Red splash for Breach. Can we do anything with Fast Bond? Fast Bond Upheaval is something. Fast Bond Upheaval is gnarly, actually. There's also the Titania. If we find any way to sack our lands, Titania can just make a full army of 5/3s. I want to go Fast Bond Upheaval, though. That is some spice. Crucible? Fast Bond Crucible? Do I have any fetches? Steam Vents? No, that's not a fetch. What am I talking about? I have no fetch lands. So I don't actually have a land I can keep replaying from grave for the Crucible in the first place. We didn't take the Wasteland either. Yeah, Crucible's not it. It's probably just the Wooded Foothills, honestly, or the green-blue. I have a lot of fetchable lands and no actual fetch yet, so let's get the fetch here. Oh my god. The Strip Mines pick 7. So you're telling me I could have taken the Wasteland and probably then picked up a Strip Mine and wheeled Icedale Explorer? Most likely. Well, let's see. Do we wheel the Icedale Explorer? I mean, that kind of feels like it if somebody passed the Strip Mine. Triple Blue's a bit hard, but Cryptic is really good. Play that over Lorien Revealed. Sure. Okay, we don't wheel the Icedale Explorer. I think it was our opening pack. We get a Fire Outlet, though. That's okay. Yeah, nothing here. Boseiju or Vivi? Grab Vivi. I don't even think I'm playing any of this. Carnosaurs, most likely. Titania wheeled around. Titania is good with Strip Mine. 6 is actually pretty good too. Okay, we drafted a lot of lands, so we only have to cut 8 cards here. Cut mostly just random red stuff, probably. I probably should have just gone Boseiju, because I can just go like blue-green. A literal only red card being Breach. I guess it's Ollie, maybe. Yeah, I can definitely cut this Ulamog. Upheaval, we have a couple mana dorks, but mainly like if we draw Upheaval Fastbond, that'll be cool. Are those cards individually good in this deck, though? Because I have 3 mana dorks. I have Mystic, Caryatid, and Badger Molcub. That doesn't feel like it's going to be a very consistent Upheaval. And then Fastbond as well is like most opening hands, if you're not specifically doing some kind of combo with it, like you have a bunch of wheel effects or you're doing Upheaval, most opening hands, it's like you're going to play all your lands out, but it's going to be a 3-lander or 4-lander like most openers, which means you'll play all your lands out, and then you only have 1 or 2 spells, because one of those non-land cards was Fastbond. So you just run out of gas really quick if your opponent just has like 1 or 2 cheap pieces of removal. You really have to have some specific thing you're doing with it, and I just don't think this deck does, except for the one of Upheaval. Yeah, I'm actually going to drop the Fastbond Upheaval combo even. And then drop Reckoner. Or Goyf. Probably just like raw stats creature like Goyf. It's not a good Seed Shark deck either, but... maybe I play Goyf over Seed Shark. I still kind of don't want to. Okay, Goyf. Let's work on the mana base here. It's really weird right now for some reason. The only card that needs red is Underworld Breach. The mana's relatively irrelevant. I guess the green cards I could end up casting later. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 cards that need green. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cards that need blue. Blue and green are pretty close. We have a triple blue card. So let's go just really high on blue and green sources and try to make them pretty much even. Start with blue. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We're cutting back street for sure. 10. How many lands am I on? 18 now? Oh, because it auto-added a land. Cut these swamps. Put a forest back in. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Wow. Green, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 11 to 8. Well, why don't I just go 10, 9 in blue's favor? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 blue, 9 green, plenty of red, some colorless. Sounds good to me. This is 17 lands and a lotus. It's worth noting. So you could also like cut a land for another spell, but most of my last spells I was not that excited about. Just like put a Goyf in there, splash a VV2. Yeah, I think I'm just going to call it a deck here. We will call it a deck here, hop in the gameplay, and see how far this one can take us. Ah, the hand of bad ideas. Yep, they're going to cast a reanimator target. Just you wait. Shelldock on Archon is nice. Yeah, this show and tell is not going to be good for us when our opponent has Grizzlebrand Carbomination. They chose to keep them in grave, which means I am in serious danger. Actually, hit an untapped land here. Oh, it's not green until I play a tap land? Shoot. I should have played the tap land first. Oh, this is the red-blue land, so it wouldn't have been green anyway. I'm a doofus. Absolutely should have played a tap land there. We'll just play a tap land, do nothing. This trying to maybe play Seed Shark next. Oh boy. Is that Tidebinder they hit? Cryptic Command Tidebinder, yeah. So they just play a Tidebinder, get a 3-2. It's not nothing. Are they putting... What are they doing here? Draw one card, put Carbomination back, or... Overlord? Oh, any permanents? Oh, the fact that it's any permanent, I think actually if they did that on Shelldock Isle, I'd have been really sad. Okay, do I go big idiot mode or do I just play Seed Shark here? There's no chance Show and Tell's good for me. I mean, they ditched some big things. I mean, you gotta do it, right? How are we winning this game otherwise? Unless they just have nothing here. Okay. They just had Overlord. That worked fine. Now they find the really big stuff. But too late to show and tell it, at least. They put the Emrakul in hand. Oh yeah, because Emrakul shuffles everybody else back in. Wow, that was actually really rough for them. Yeah, that's why I don't love Emrakul in Reanimator decks, because Emrakul can hinder the rest of your plan, even if you do have like other ways to cheat it out. It's a risk for sure. Actually worked really well for us, except for the fact that now they're very far away from 20 cards in their library for Shelldock Isle. Mill 4 pickup World Spineworm. Their deck is just 20 big things to try to cheat out somehow. Apparently. If Vaultborn Tyrant does not get exiled, then I'm perfectly fine with whatever happens here. However, they're going to blow it up. Yeah, that's fine for Overlord to win the combat. Draw Reckoner, Bankbuster. There's Ponder for our opponent. Working on that shell dock for us. 24 cards now. Caryatid and Bankbuster, or just play a Seed Shark. A lone Seed Shark that's not big enough to really matter. Go Caryatid Bankbuster. Then even if they kill the 6/6, I've got the 4/4 blocker up here. And I think I'm playing defense until Shelldock Isle, and then I'm going full aggro. Now there's a Sin. Shelldock Isle is active. Maybe just play Bankbuster and simply hold up Shelldock Isle was the better play, so that if they did declare an Overlord attack, we would just use it. I could see that. Put another into the grave. Them doing this all post-combat does not bode confidence that they're going to reanimate something huge. Yeah, they're just going to unearth a frog. Cool. Oh, now they can discard the Emrakul to shut off Shelldock Isle. And they'll be down a card for it, but still. Yeah, you may play the exiled card without paying some bonus if a library has 20 or fewer cards. So if I activate Shelldock and they respond by discarding Emrakul, that just rips my mana away from me, so I don't think I even actually try to do it. Titania kind of sucks here, though, so I'm not really doing anything else. I guess I just like draw a card off Bankbuster and hold up the mana. I mean, Psychic Frog's ability is free, so it doesn't matter if they're tapped out. They can still just Emrakul into the grave. That is pretty annoying. I don't have anything for the flash right now, but in the future that'll be nice. If they booster tutor into a reanimator spell, that's gonna suck. But they're at the mercy of whatever they open this pack. I guess if they do try to cast a reanimator spell, I respond by activating Shelldock. And then they could, in response, discard Emrakul, but then they don't get their card back from grave either. Demonic Tutor cannot possibly be good for me. And that's definitely what they got off the booster tutor. We both get something or nobody gets something. It's up to you. Oh, we both get it. Sick. No discard Emrakul. I'm surprised because they're going to persist onto just an Overlord anyway. That went really, really well for us again. Can't discard this Emrakul. They have to discard other stuff. This Emrakul's kind of just stranded in their hand in a rough way here. World Spine Worm it is. Pick up Crabominum. Alright, we can definitely play aggro now. Phyrexian Revoker on Psychic Frog. They're going to shuffle everything else back. Well, I think I need to Revoker Psychic Frog with 2 cards left in their hand and nothing engraved for flying regardless. Woodfall Primus. Well, there's a flash target. Kills non-creatures, so it would only kill their lands right now. It's just still pretty good. Pretty rude. Okay. Well. Another Vaultborn Tyrant trigger as well. Yeah, we are really, really far ahead right now. Let's just jam it. Now they kept the Psychic Frog. And they scoop. Writing's on the wall, and we're going to start things off a 1-0 heading to game 2. All right, here we are on the play for game 2. Opponent takes a mulligan. Probably going to lead with the tap land here, but then I'm just going to get this Karakas out. So we have that layer of defense. And just hold up like Karakas' ability in Fresh Start. Red deck. Truly think this hand does not mind strip mining them immediately. Hoping they kept a 1 or 2 lander off the mole. Because realistically, this hand's curve stops at 3 mana. We're never casting Archon or Atali in this deck. Okay. So we just slow them down for a moment here, which is fine. They are on Boros. Generous Plunderer. I think we'll let it we'll really let it trigger now that we have Lotus. We could end up Lotus and Treasure Token hard casting something here. So I'm going to actually even Phantasmal Image their Plunderer. No, I'm actually going to hold on to Image because then I could play one of these and Image it. Yeah, I think we let it trigger here. We get a treasure. Then I have Lotus into Atali. Because I have 7 mana at worst. We're playing Atali next turn. But now I fresh start it before it attacks and pings me for this treasure. And then if I hit a land, I'll play Archon instead of Atali, and that'll be even better. Although they'll be able to sack the creature that I fresh started to the Archon, which isn't great, but the rest of Archon's really good. Tursa Light Shatter. Could fresh start the Tursa too. If I fresh start the Tursa instead, that will let me keep getting treasures from Plunderer, but again, Plunderer keeps pinging me. Oh yeah, I could just Karakas Tursa. What am I even on about? Karakas is a busted card. All right, land Archon, no land Atali. Here we go. No land. Tali it is. Good enough. So they have Mana Tithe. For real, do I have to play around Mana Tithe? They could have Lightning Bolts, but they have one treasure token they're holding for an instant, and it was when I was trying to cast a spell. If I pass the main phase 2 and it doesn't hold priority, it's specifically a counter spell. Okay. Unless they have Mana Tithe and Bolts, we just play a Tali here. Oh. And Phantasmal Image Plunder. I'm playing around Tithe. We've got a Tidebinder held up. If I give up on playing a Tali so soon and just crack Lotus for Tidebinder. Okay. We're really vibing right now. They just play a Legend again for Caracas. They're not like massively unhappy with this either, I imagine, because they get to keep discarding and drawing every time they play this Ursa. It's good for everybody, see? I'm nice. This is a group hug 1v1 deck. Until I play Archon of Cruelty, and then not so much. Okay, they cracked a treasure for FOMO, and then I don't have to play around Tithe. Sack the Plunderer, discard a card, lose some life. I feel like discard Tursa is pretty reasonable. Discard Lelia, a legend that doesn't even have an enter effect. Caracas is taking names right now. That card is not being nice. They do have Oust on Archon, sad day. And the Unholy Heat on the Plunderer, okay. So it's going to be a while before we cast a Tali, but we do have one red source off Volcanic Island, so we will realistically get to a point of hard casting it. Can trade Tidebinder into the Sphere missing out next turn. Not a good draw. Can Revoker on Headliner. I don't actually get to really block this turn if I do that. So we just hold up Tidebinder. They can sack Headliner to kill this. They don't want to lose the 2-3, but it is now a 2-3 with no abilities, and I will kill one of their two creatures either way. Well, if they don't want to do that, then I kind of think I block Headliner and force them to do it. Force them to spend their mana on that instead of whatever they actually want to do here. Since if it's better for our opponent to trade Headliner into Tidebinder, there's nothing I can do anyway. I would just block Fear Missing and then they would do it. Bankbuster, but I can't draw yet. Because I need Caracas up. Oh, right, only loses the abilities as long as Tidebinder's still around. It's rough. I do go back to taking 4 a turn again. Inti. If I don't bounce Inti now, I can't bounce Inti and Tersa in the same turn cycle. Okay, that's good. I needed lands bad. These are all triggered abilities. Revoker does not stop triggered abilities. So we're just drawing a card off Bankbuster. Oof. That was a good draw. The flash 3-1 that can blow up the Bankbuster too. But mainly just flash 3-1, beat down. It having flash specifically is what hurts so bad, because if it didn't have flash, I could then just play the Revoker, so that I just trade into it on blocks at least. But that's 6 damage with FOMO. Yeah, things are going fast enough now. That I'm not going to be able to just hit the extra mana. I need to hit Flash or Show and Tell to have a chance. It's the 2 lands I would have need. If I never missed a land draw, these would have been out by this turn, and I could play a Talia Tyrant. Yeah, I've even got the double green and the double red. I got one last draw. Flash and Show and Tell are both cheap enough that I do have this one last draw. All right. Okay, Flash is cheap enough. I have one more draw again. Flash Vaultborn Tyrant is enough life here. Well, is it? It's gain 6. They still hit me for 10 because Fear Missing Out hits Cathar Commando. Well, Archon makes them sack one of the 2 and puts me to 5, which then they hit me for 5 because they sack FOMO. Wow. I guess I have to hit a Tolly and hope for the best. If I hit Flash. Didn't. Well, yeah, I mean, without the red, that's it. Rough. If we had the red up there, that actually would have gotten there. Because Lotus having escape. Actually, no, it wouldn't. Well. Oh, I clicked the wrong button. We could have. It depends how full our grave was, but if we had red up there instead, I might have been able to go Breach double Lotus activate to then hard cast a 7-drop. I'd have to triple cast though. Yeah, probably didn't have quite enough cards in grave to get enough mana there either way. Yeah, I mean, that's the downside of this kind of strategy. We drew like 3 or 4 of our big show and tell targets with no ways to cheat them out. So we were just down a bunch of cards, just a bunch of complete blanks in our hand. And that'll do that to you. These kind of cube decks are super high variance. I mean, cube decks are in general, but especially this stuff. And we hit the lower end in that game. 1-1, now in game 3. Speaking of variance, opponent is living the literal Ren and 6 dream. That's super frustrating. Yeah. I guess they don't actually have a good show and tell card yet, so we need to draw that. It's always really frustrating to like end a game with real bad luck and then just the next game starts with just like, yep, that's rough. Okay, they are a many color deck, so the odds of them having a good show and tell card here are quite high, but we'll see if it's better than a Tolly. It is not. Wow. Really good show and tell then. How good is a Tolly? It's alright. Now the Revoker on Ren and 6 is kind of sick. Yeah, that was pretty good. Are we just going to hit like the best show and tell RNG today? I have been burned by that card astronomically bad before, where it's pretty low on my pick order compared to literally any other way to cheat things out. But that is every single game today so far where it has been really, really good. Like even them having a way to kill the Atali here, it still put us way up. Any land, put it onto the battlefield. Knight of the Reliquary for Shelldock Isle is kind of exciting. I kind of want to hold Tidebinder up to use on 6. And then Knight of the Reliquary into Shelldock. I'm going to chip away at Ren and 6 so that if they kill the Revoker, we've still dealt with Ren and 6. But yeah, I think it's Tidebinder on 6. Knight of the Reliquary for Shelldock Isle. They have 23 cards. They're already very close to activating Shelldock. Elvish Reclaimer off of 6. Tidebinder on 6. Grab Shelldock. Actually, grabbing Caracas is pretty sick here too, but I want to play a big splashy thing. Those are not big splashy things. I just take part of the Underworld Breach combo to have at the ready. I guess. Ooh, Ramanap. Okay, there's Wooded Foothills. Let's get an untapped land and just start Tameoing for Breach.
Dueling you will be excellent research. Let me aid your research.
There's the Brainstorm Engrave. Moderately big deal. I should actually just activate Knight of the Reliquary for Caracas. Springheart and Antuco on Elvish Reclaimer, so they can crack a land, grab a land, spend 2, make a copy of Reclaimer, do some goofy stuff with those. Cool. That's fun. Formidable Speaker. I mean, I could just win the game standard by picking up something big off of Tameo and playing lands, but I think I'm going to use this game to try to learn how the Breach combo works for a game where I actually need to do it to win. Okay. So we go cast Lotus. Storm count 1. Okay, they scoop. They know the combo. Maybe everybody will just scoop, but I don't actually have to figure out how to go through the motions. The problem is it is a lot of clicks, so it takes enough time that because I have no hourglasses, if I don't do it right and if I don't know what I'm doing, I will take too long to kill them with it. But the idea is we play the Lotus, Storm count 1. We play the Breach, Storm count 2. We Lotus for some mana, and then we've got all these cards in grave. So then we exile 3 of them to replay the Lotus, Storm count up, crack it for mana, exile 3 of them, play Brain Freeze on ourselves, so we got a bunch of cards in grave. Since we've Brain Freezed ourselves, we have more than enough fuel to just keep recasting Lotus and Brain Freeze. And yeah, with all that Lotus mana, let's say we have like, 12 Lotus mana. If I have enough cards in grave off of that 12 Lotus mana, I just go Brain Freeze you, exiling 3, Brain Freeze you, exiling 3, Brain Freeze you, exiling 3, and they just mill out really quick. That's kind of an overkill explanation in that example because the storm count would be pretty high by the time you're casting Brain Freeze. You'd probably only need to do it like twice. But that is the combo, as I understand it. But I have never actually gone through the clicks for it, so I could time out doing it, so we'll see. 2-1, comboed somebody out this time, heading into game 4. To be fair, we comboed them out within the mental battlefield. It was a mind game there. They saw me brainstorm comboing, or brain freeze comboing, doing the visual calculus. And they conceded to the place of my mind. Okay, well, if we could draw like a bajillion flash targets like we did in our one loss, we're ready. Forest, Revoker carry added. Revoker on whatever mana rock they play. Come on, play a mana rock. Play a Soul Ring. Go land, Soul Ring, pass. Mountain. Ragavan. I can't revoke her a Ragavan. I'm gonna play Fresh Start Caryatid off this Lotus, I guess. Here I am. Ragavan gets a fresh start. Pass turn. I mean, that was okay. That was far from the scariest Lotus start. The hexproof on Caryatid is genuinely nice, though. There's Inti. Inti's a triggered ability, not an activated ability, so Revoker doesn't do anything. They can only play the card they discard until the end of their turn here, so unless they hit specifically a land, it's actually pretty bad for them. Oh, and they already played land for turns, so yeah, they're just discarding a card there, basically. Play the Islet and draw a card off it. I could play Revoker here to have a 2-1 blocker, but it's going to be a 2-1 blocker against a 3-3, so no point. Rather just crack this Islet. Tursa. Yikes. More triggered abilities. Yeah, Revoker was a very, very filler last addition to this deck. Okay, well, they can't cast that. Never mind. Say Mightstone and Weakstone has abilities. Counter on NT hit me for 6. But they're tapped out, so NT is like full-on discarding cards. Never mind. They hit a 0 mana play. They hit a Mox. If they hit anything that costs 1 or more mana, that would have been just a full discard just for a counter. And I'm surprised by where the +1/+1 counter goes as well, because we actually got to stop damage this way. Another land, Underworld Breach with the Lotus engraved, but not nearly enough cards for that to do anything. And I can Revoker their Mox, I guess. I do kind of just need random blockers, but it's not big enough to matter. Still. There's Mishra's Workshop. Mishra's Workshop? What? For a triplicate Titan in mono red, opponent has dreams. I can respect that. All right, we get to kill on Inti here since they didn't put any counters on him. That is just mana. So we put Lutri in hand and pass. I'm just dying to Tursa. I feel like there were a lot of opportunities here for our opponent to put us in an even worse position. So all things considered, I don't think I can be that unhappy, but... Okay. Woodfall Primus kills the Fable and leaves me with a big enough blocker. Double Flash doesn't do anything, so... we just play the Flash and not the Lutri. Although I suppose I foothills into a mana that could play the Lutri. Oh, that did activate Tersa's random casts. A random card from Grave. There's a 0 drop, some 1 and 2 drops, but then there's also a 6. Spin the Tersa RNG wheel. And if it goes in their favor, we lose. If it doesn't, we eat Tersa. Feels like it's going to come down to a coin flip here, basically. All right, what do you got, Tersa? Fire Blast. That's pretty bad for me, but not bad enough to stop Primus unless they also top decked Burn for Primus specifically. I mean, they do get to, like, you know, Tursa deals 4 plus Fire Blast here. But the important part is they can't kill Primus pre-blocks. Oh, man, they top decked a Hazoret, and then they can just sack 2 lands and Fire Blast my face. That's wildly bad. That's, in fact, so bad I don't think I crack Wooded Foothills. Because they can discard a card and deal 2 to me. I mean, I guess the only thing that matters is multiples of 2, right? I'm dead to 2 Hazoret flings whether I crack Foothills or not. Okay. Man. Yeah, let's surveil. Find Cryptic Command. Return Hazoret to their hand, draw a card. Yeah, okay, that's huge. That's huge. Oh, I don't have triple. I do off of carry added. Okay. Return Hazoret to hand. Draw a card. Now they have 1 red source, and then the workshop doesn't do anything. Okay, Mystic doesn't do anything either. Got the Lutri to block the 2/2, but it gives them a treasure and trades in, so I'm not really feeling that still. Breach for a Cryptic. I don't have triple blue after tapping out for Breach. And Breach only lasts for a turn. We sack it in the end steps. I can't, like, run it out now to Cryptic next turn. I have to Cryptic the turn I play Breach. Titania the Fiery Islet feels nice. Very good draw. I am dead to a Lightning Bolt, which is not enjoyable. It's not a good feeling. Shelldock is a good feeling. Shelldock Archon to gain life. If I get 1 more turn, Shelldock saves me. There's a 2/1. That doesn't do it. And here is our safety. That was scary stuff. That was super, super close down at 3 here. And then that did just make me realize there actually was an argument for not cracking that fetch, and it's that there's a lot of burn spells and multiples of 3 lightning bolts and chain lightnings and stuff to deal 3. Ooh, scary mono red deck there, but we get there in the end. I'm so happy they were running Mishra's Workshop. That helped a lot. That wasn't just like another mountain as well. All right, 3-1 heading into game number 5. All right, here we are on the draw for game number 5. 3-1 right now. Sick opening hand. We Elvish Mystic on 1. We can set up the Shelldock Isle, but we're probably just going to hold up the Tidebinder. Turn 2, I've got a Caracas coming up off of the top deck. Yeah, really sweet stuff all around. This starts on red mana, not blue, so I have to start with Fiery Islet to hold up Tidebinder. Tidebinder on currency converter should be pretty dang good. Yeah, not bad at all. There's an Archon of Cruelty. We find Flash or show and tell. There's Retrofitter Foundry. We could Tidebinder that as well. We just Tidebinder whatever they use. They're both instant speed effects, so they just wait till our end step. We don't use our mana this turn, but that's okay. I'd actually rather set up the Shelldock Isle than play Caracas here. That's a pretty bad hit. I guess we just get the Breach combo. Because it's not going to matter till later in the game when I've drawn all of the cards for it anyway. And those other cards just won't matter by the time Shelldock is ready. Okay, sure, I'll Tidebinder Foundry, just because it's what they used here. Just make sure we Tidebinder something. Probably get Tidebinder to draw removal out. Get the treasure from Converter. Grim Lavamancer can kill Tidebinder with 2 cards in their grave. They're at 1 now. Can put another in with Currency Converter, so we'll need to fresh start the Lavamancer. I can put Lutri in hand and still have fresh start up. I have no lands to Titania until I crack Islet. So let's go Lutri to hand, and then I go Mystic plus blue for fresh start on Lavamancer. It's fine. They can't activate Foundry to kill this Tidebinder, so they'd have to flash something else in to kill it unblocked. They can activate Converter, but they can't get a 2/2 out of it until the turn after they've discarded something else. They're in a hard cast of Subtlety. I mean, them just 1-for-1 trading that into the Tidebinder is really not bad. Let the Foundry unlock, and then we also fresh start the Lavamancer. So that they don't kill the Elvish Mystic. Alright, and they get to sit here fiddling with their artifacts, and we're just waiting to draw a way to cheat these into play. But we can start fiddling with Titania stuff. Get a 1/1 Days Undoing. That might actually be good for me. Depending on what we draw. It's okay for me. We're on our way to an Atali hard cast at this rate. I need another red source though. So maybe not. No good cards to Phantasmal Image here. Probably cycle Headquarters. Fury is super good. It's just gonna kill 6, sure. But it's a big old double striker on this board. Oh, Phantasmal Image on Fury goes so hard. I'm actually really happy to see that, now that I think of it. Edit, 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 edit. Reckoner, Bankbuster, Vaultborn Tyrant. We're going to cast a Vaultborn Tyrant here pretty soon. I could just cast it right now and try to image that instead. If they do some kind of exile removal spell on Vaultborn Tyrant, they hit me for 7 because of the double strike off Fury. If they don't have blue up to counter this, I'm just gonna do it. They could have Force of Will here. That's about it. I think could have Daze. Or they could have redrew their Subtlety. Ooh, we drew the Flash. Yeah, it's looking like this hand's gonna work out better than the previous one. Probably going Flash Archon. It's more reasonable that we end up casting a Tali than the Archon. More likely. Although a Tali probably has the more significant trigger immediately. Bro. Are you kidding me? Inti into the Cryptic, make the treasure off of Converter, cast Cryptic to bounce Tyrant, draw a card before I can declare blocks? Oh. They're doing something else. If this is them casting something else from their hand, that is just significantly better for me than if they just made the treasure and did the Cryptic thing. Oh, they're just going to bounce the token? Yeah, that's cool. I get to kill a creature here. Yeah, I guess they just didn't want me to, like, get the ETB again here, which is fair enough. So, Cryptic, bounce creature, draw a card. Cool. Alright, we're big chillin'. After that, Ketria Triumph's the next red source for its Tali. Ooh. But I could Lutri Flash, which is tempting. That can't be better than just hard casting a Tali soon anyway. Yeah, let's plan to hard cast this Atali. Let's go Flash, Archon, set up the red mana, and like draw a Bankbuster card here. Goodbye, Lavamancer. Chrome Host Seed Shark. Oh, I totally forgot my Archon was going to trigger there. NT, I should have Caracased first. Whoops. Gave them an extra trigger there. So absolutely play the Triumph. Do I play Bankbuster or do I play Seed Shark? Let's go Seed Shark. Caracas NT when they move to combat. Or actually, Converter's going to untap here too. But NT gets an attack trigger, so I still think I want to bounce NT when they move to combat instead of right now, because then they replay it and still get the attack trigger. Alright, Foundry made its big dork here, made its 4/4. Legion Extruder on Mystic. Yikes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That is actually very big that they did that, because that means I don't get to play Atali and Image in the same turn now. Which is real bad. Stock up is super good for them. Look at the top 5, put the best 2 into their hands. Screaming Nemesis. Wow, wow, wow. Now I kind of feel like I need to hit Underworld Breach combo to stand a chance. This is a lot of stuff. I am at 20. I take 7 here. Might have one more turn to hit my combo. Steam Vent certainly is not it. And Atali probably buys me the turn, so we just run out the Atali. Holding up Caracas. Cryptic Wheel of Fortune, wow. Cast both? They can only activate Converter once per turn, even if everything is underneath it. So I'm pretty sure I'm bouncing the token instead of Converter. That is not Lotus or Brainstorm, so we're still not there on Breach combo. Which was the big reason I did this. Is I'm like, that almost guarantees we hit Breach combo next turn, but not quite. I suppose. Tamio will. Yeah, I mean, if we live another turn, then Tamio should pretty much guarantee it. So we already have the Underworld Breach. We just need to Tamio into the Brain Freeze. So it's like a 50-50. If it's in the top 4, then we hit the Brain Freeze off of the Tamio. And use the Brain Freeze to mill the last cards so that I have the Lotus that I then use. If I play Tamio and I mill for naming Lotus, it doesn't really matter what I name, because if the card ends up in the grave, I'm going to be able to cast it off of Underworld Breach regardless. So it's just, if it's in the top 4, I'll be casting it, period. Could block Nemesis with Atali and put Atali in my hand, threatening to just play Atali again. Take 0. And then I just actually show Untelly Atali. I mean, they've got a fresh grip of cards. That's probably not right. Pyrogoyf domes me to 6 life. If I didn't do the Screaming Nemesis block, I'd be at 3 and I'd be dead to Bolt. Okay. If they have a counterspell, they could get me here, countering Underworld Breach. That is the only thing that matters. Okay. I also need to not time out, so there's that too. I guess I could Tameo back the Underworld Breach. Okay. Oh man, I might, this is I-Mill 6, right? So there'll be one card left. Looking for Lotus. Oh god, I've got a lot of triggers I need to click through too. They have 14 cards left. I don't actually need to storm off that that long. If they have a Emrakul in their deck, that's the worst. Lotus is the literal bottom? Okay, I mean, I can still hit it, but still. That's very funny. There's the Lotus on the very bottom. Play it. Boop, boop, boop. Okay, this is a lot easier to do than I thought it would be. That's good. I don't think I'm ever going to really have to worry about milling out during this. I guess I'll have to worry about milling out like when I start looking around and seeing if I have some way to make them draw a card. None of these say target player draws a card. It's all I draw a card. So we just pass. I should have played Lotus again. I just punted. It probably doesn't matter, but I should have played Lotus again before I passed to the next phase, because I can still play Brain Freeze through the end step. So if they like end step, somehow ditch an Emrakul or something. Go through the motions, play some stuff. Die to the mill. Let's go! I have successfully, actually, fully Underworld Breach comboed somebody, and we won 2 games to it. One of them they just conceded, but this one, legitimately, I had to go through the motions. That feels pretty sweet. That is a sick, sick combo, and it leads us to 4-1, a positive record out of this draft, no matter where things go from here. Okay, we really don't want the breach in the opener, but this is still a keep otherwise. I think Atali's probably one you don't super want in the opener either. I mean, it depends if we have Flash or Show and Tell coming up soon. Red, blue, white, triome, and a mountain from our opponent. March of Otherworldly Light, all in the Elvish Mystic. I'm not exactly happy with that, but I don't think this hand needed the Mystic that bad. Staff of the Storyteller, get a 1/1, draw a card off of it. They play more tokens to get more 1/1s. Oh, so it's like Boros stuff here. Caracas, but they have no legends. So we play Caracas. Could play Revoker on staff so they don't draw the card. But I kind of want just the 4 toughness creature for Ocelot Pride here. So I'm going to play that instead. But I don't really have a good discard for it. If I discard a Tali, I have no show and tell target in my hand. What creatures are in my deck? Phantasmal Image, Badgermole Cub, Tidebinder. Okay, actually, Formidable Speaker for Tidebinder on Ocelot Pride would be worth it here. Although I've got Cryptic Excuse me, I've got Cryptic Command next turn too. What if I ditch Underworld Breach? Is that crazy? I'm gonna ditch Underworld Breach here. We still have a chance of going for the Breach combo in the late game, but we're against a Boros deck here, so we need to think about the immediate future. And in the far from now future, we can Tameo to return Underworld Breach from our grave to our hand, and then do the kill. Oh yeah, this is not good. They're gonna bolt my speaker on blocks. Oh, they ditched a Parallax Wave. Let's go. I'm happy to not have to deal with that, at least. They hit a card they can't immediately cast. Swords to Plowshares. This is 8 permanents on their board. The Ocelot Pride. Bunch of draws from the staff coming up. I need another blue for Cryptic still. But I got Caracas on Inti and Tidebinder on Pride or Staff. Probably Tidebinder on Pride because I can. I can Revoker the Staff. Ooh. It's actually not anything great to Phantasmal Image because I'm just going to keep bouncing into. It's theoretically pretty nice. They have to activate Staff in response to this to get their card. Yep. But then I stop the second card. There we go. That's a Phantasmal Image target right there. Although unlocking Ocelot Pride is brutal. No, they hit City's Blessing with Pride too. Jesus. We need something good off the shell dock. We will have a Cryptic up after it, which is good. Show and tell is something good in this matchup. It's gonna be a while till the shell dock though, because nobody's drawn extra cards. Plunder hurts a lot. Take 4 damage a turn. Or they don't send the 1/1s in, and we take 1. If we draw another red source, we might be hardcasting a Tatali, and we're also just 2 lands from hardcasting a Primus. It's very interesting to me. Might be like tapping all their creatures and countering a spell here. If they cast something main phase 1. The treasure token means we could play Atali or Primus next turn. I mean, Atali guaranteed. Primus off any land. Bestow for collect evidence 6. They have evidence 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in grave. Ew. Well. Resolve it and then tap everybody, maybe? Land for turn. Tap everyone. Draw a card, or tap everyone, bounce a card. Then untap, play a Atali. I think I'm just gonna bounce a token and tap everything. So I'm more likely to be stable post-Atali. Non-creatures only for Primus. So it's Atali holding up Caracas. Oh my god, what a hit. They're gonna scoop. So we're about to gain some life, draw a card here. I'm trying to figure out what our target is supposed to be. It's gotta be Plunderer, right? Because Pyrogoyf, we can block now that we have 2 different 7/7s. Detective's Phoenix is just gonna bestow from the grave. So it's Plunderer. I was thinking maybe it wouldn't be Plunderer because the treasures could help with this, but we're at 2 out of 3 green period already. Show and Tell's coming up very, very soon. Yeah, it's Get Lost on the Plunderer. And then we're actually just stable there. Yeah. That was sick. Really, really nice stabilization there. Off of just big, explosive Atali plays. We are 5-1 in the money out of this draft no matter what as we head into game number 7. Okay. Game number 7. Here we are. Steam events tapped on the play. Pass turn, our opponent drops Bloodstained Mire, which could mean a million different things. Let's just get our Badger Mole Cub going. Concealing Curtains from our opponent. That can look at our hand, make us discard a card. If they do, then we get to just draw a card, so we don't really care about Concealing Curtains. They are going to snuff out the Badger Mole, though. That is a little sadder. Find a Titania. It's going to be really nice with our Triumph. Not really nice, but fine. I'm going to go for the 6 here. So if it doesn't die, then the ability to be picking up extra lands is pretty big here. Fill in the grave. Black Lotus is not good. They could play a 6-drop here. Looks like they will. Oh no, Black Lotus sneak attack. Sneak in. Atali, yep. What did they hit? Underworld Breach, alright. They can Underworld, oh my god, they hit Underworld Breach with Lotus in their grave and Frantic Search. Ay, ay, ay. They might combo kill us here. I guess we just stand here and watch. So you're telling me if I passed the turn, I could just brain freeze them. But, I mean, how on earth would I have played around their sneak attack Natali hitting our Underworld Breach? Yeah. That would have been crazy, though. Okay. I mean, they don't go infinite with their current stuff, but it's certainly not good. They go far enough to kill me with sneak attack for sure. I mean, they just go Lotus for blue for the Frantic Search. They spend their red from Blood Crypt to sneak something in and then cast the Frantic Search on tapping the Blood Crypt again and then sneak another thing in. Or they're just going to have Lotus back on board. Okay. I feel like this might have been able to go a little bit worse for me, but I'm not sure. It depends what they had in hand. All right, well, they got one card left, and other than that, we're kind of chilling. But the second they draw anything, they have the sneak attack, so we're not chilling that much. We are in danger. Hedge Maze. Finds Tidebinder. Tidebinder on sneak attack. Oh, it can't stop enchantments? Alright, Tidebinder, get out of here. You can't stop a sneak attack. It can stop concealing curtains, but they're probably just activating that next turn anyway. And I will not have drawn that yet. Goodbye, Titania. Hello, Tamio. Hold up. If we find our Lotus, they're dead. Tamio picks up the breach. Oh my god, dude. He can't keep getting away with it. Our opponent just looked at our hand, too. That's brutal. That's absurd.
The moon looks intriguing tonight. I follow the tracks of the wise.
That's absurd. I was unsure if it was the right play just kind of shoving this combo into this deck just because I know it can go infinite. I'm very happy I drafted the Tamio to go with it. My lord, was it the right play? I was like thinking about it. I was like, because you kind of need these cards together, you probably want to draft a bunch of little cantrips and stuff and, you know, stock ups for it to be worth it. Get insta win if you draw into it. It's kind of just worth it already. It would obviously be better if we drafted around it more, but that's like our third, maybe even fourth win off of that combo. Gross stuff. We are 6-1, heading into the final boss with 2 rounds in the chamber. Alright, here we are on the play for what may be the final game of Magic for today if we're lucky. Let's see what the Shelldock Isle finds us. Brain Freeze or Tolly? Let's go with Tolly. Ether Spellbomb to start our opponent off. We could Revoke or Spellbomb. Yeah, it's all 3 mana stuff. We don't need Mystic Mana yet. Very convenient list of choices there for Marina. Good programming. There's Urza's Saga, which is going to tutor out a 1-mana artifacts. If they had a good pawn, they got their own Soul Ring or something, that could be pretty bad for me. This is an enchantment land. Tidebinder can't stop that, but it can stop whatever they tutor out. So I'm just going to hold up Tidebinder here. Oh wait, they don't tutor anything else till the next chapter? I'm dumb. I should have just played Seed Shark, I guess. Well, I can do it now. They make a construct. That thing's a 3/3 and just eats the Revoker. I guess Urza's Saga is just going to get a mana rock, though, and Tidebinder can't. I don't believe mana rock's abilities go on the stack, so they're not like lethal targets to counter. Yeah, this is pretty awful. They do have a Mox to go with the Saga. This is painful. Yeah, mana abilities can't be targeted, so we just fresh start. Mystic holding up a Tidebinder. Come on, use a triggered or activated ability. Please. I could flash in Tidebinder and try to double block with Mystic in it, but now I'm working towards Tyrant at 5 mana. Currently, we're only 2 mana away. We're going to stare at each other. This is weird. We're now at 6 out of 7 mana for Vaultborn Tyrant, so I think the plan remains. There's the 7th mana. Keep it. I could play Bankbuster and still have Tidebinder up. I'd have to tap Mystic for it, but we'll do that. We can crew a 4/4 on blocks now, if I don't hold up Tidebinder mana. Uh-oh. Tidebinder can't... I think the way things are ordered is that Tidebinder's not going to be able to counter Hull Breacher. If they cast like a Time Twister here, they're just going to destroy me. Right, because it's once my hand gets shuffled away that it puts the ability on the stack to stop the rest of my draws. Which I just can't do. I'm not going to go crew and block, because then I'm tapped out of Tidebinder. I'll take this to the face. Yeah, if they have the Time Twister here, they got the combo and we lose. Let's hope not. Kappa Cannoneer, okay. To be fair, though, even without the combo, Hull Breacher is really bad for me because it's going to shut off Vaultborn Tyrant. I'll still gain life from Tyrant, which is something. think I still have to play it. Start gaining life. They'll get one treasure. They could just start killing me with a celestial colonnade. Well, I only had one card in hand, so this actually isn't that crazy. They get a bunch of treasure, which is crazy, but my hand is not, like, demolished. Oh, the one-sided board wipe spell. All right. You got me. And is well over lethal. Not too much to say there. There's not a lot we could do about that. They hit the goods on that one, and we are 6-2. Heading into the final battle. This will be the final game of Magic for today, whether we win or lose. Ooh. Okay. We're actually the green lands deck today. We're going to Badger Mole Cup strip mine them and then Titania strip mine them. It's a turn 3 play. Well, no, I could just play the cub, earthbending the strip mine onto... I'm on turn 2, I just don't get to sack it until the turn after that. So that would allow them to have some removal spell to cast on the strip mine. Oh god, they've got a Mox anyway. Oh, I can hold off because I have a flash. I just flash a Tali. What am I talking about? I just go flash a Tali and then I go strip mine. Oh, I was trying to get my priority again by holding full control so that I could do that while they were tapped out of counters. Okay, they're tapped out of counters here anyway. Cool. Let's do it before they draw the card. That's one less opportunity for them to have Force of Will in hand. Or Daze. They had Daze. Okay. Well, that sucks. Well, I am going to go Badger Mole Cub, Strip Mine Titania still, but now Legend of Kirk's going to activate soon. Okay. Strip Cub? My brain's dying. I don't have long now. Green or red? Red. Red is more likely to be able to kill the cub. I might Phantasmal Image this cub. 6. Play an Urza's Bauble if they discard a land. And they'd be discarding a land when we're doing strip mine nonsense. They're doing it. They're discarding a land. They are gonna have a big old Legend of Kuruk card. A 4/3 that keeps creating unblockable spirits and can take an extra turn later. Ooh. That's quite a gamble. That is indeed quite a gamble. They're green, blue, and red. They are like sneak attack, show and tell colors. If I had one more mana, I could show and tell and then also image the show and tell creature, and then maybe it'd be worth the risk. But since I don't, I'm just going to strip mine again. the green. They've already got blue off Mox Sapphire. I don't have a land engrave or the mana to go like strip mine, then Titania back to strip mine. And I can't play Titania and crack a land the same turn, so I have to wait one more turn to play Titania. So we might be stuck in a position where the only thing I can really play is Show and Tell next turn, in which case I guess we go for it. I'm happy to kill 6 here. If they don't have removal in hand to shoot a cub, in which case they kill both cubs, but the cubs don't, they're just 2/2s with no abilities at this point. Okay. That worked well. We killed 6 at the cost of 1 cub. I guess at this point, them show and telling even just a land into play is good value. That's a lot of permanents towards Waterbend 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Scary. All right, Atali. Give me the goods. I'm scared. Glorybringer? Okay, not the worst. Not good. Not the worst. We hit Underworld Breach. Underworld Breach on Flash Titania? That doesn't do anything. Underworld Breach play Cub. Underworld Breach play Cub is also not that good because I actually want the Strip Mine Engrave. Also, the Steel Cutter is the second spell, so it's not even going to happen. Oh, I don't have enough cards engraved to even do the escape thing. Anyway. But I'd rather cast the card to put the Breach in my grave than have the Breach stuck in exile. So this still plays fine. Okay, I really want to top deck a land, but I do think I'm strip mining before I pass. So that they don't untap with the green-red source. As far as we know, they're on mono blue outside of Mox Diamond. So they have 1 non-blue mana each turn. Once upon a time, to do some digging off of the Mox Diamond, that is their 1 non-blue mana spent. Unless they just grab a land off the top 5 with this, which is something it can do. It does find a breeding pool. So there's another green source. Plus a Mox Jet. Oof, triple Mox over there. We've got a Black Lotus, so we can't really complain, but Mox Jet, Mox Sapphire, Mox Diamond. They're kind of popping off. I don't think Titania is going to be enough here. The Avatar Kuruk just came out too quick, hitting the board before we could do our strip mine stuff. So now there's just a million unblockable threats over there. I can Titania back a strip mine, and that just doesn't matter. The lands don't matter. Because of all of the Mox mana, they just slam stuff down anyway. Tidebinder's too late. I can stop Kuruk from making more spirits now. But again... now it's too late. They got us. 5, 6, 7, 8. I feel like they could already just go wide and attack through the Satalis, so... we need the Chariot here. Oh my god. Man, I'm just not going to live even if I hold it back. Five, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 permanents for the waterbend as well. Loot is going to draw them 3 cards, so I have to counter Loot's ability instead of Kuruk's at this point. Oh, if they don't activate and just use it as a double striker, that also just kind of kills me. Yeah, no, we're just so dead here. There's just so many threats. Avatar Kuruk. Legend of Kuruk. A really strong card, turns out. That's probably the biggest flaw of our deck, is just not really having interaction. So if they can get something out before we do our big stuff, that thing can crush us. Yeah, there's going to be no... if I live this turn, is there a chance I Underworld combo? Let's see, I live this turn. No, there's utterly no chance. Because if I live through the turn, I could, draw Tamiyo, pick up Breach, and still have 1/3 of the combo and no mana to do it. If I top deck Black Lotus, I go Black Lotus 6, 4 mana up, 6 retraces. Yeah, no, there's no way. Even if I find a way to live this turn, which is highly unlikely. All right, bummer of an ending. So close to a 7 winner. It felt potentially possible there, but our opponents have some crazy stuff for the 2 losses. The Legend of Kuruk hitting the board too fast before I could strip mine stuff. They also drew just so much mana there. Like we got to strip mine them like 3 times. Potentially towards a 4th later here, and they still just didn't really have any issue with mana. Through triple strip mine. And every time we strip mined them as well, we got to still keep, all of our lands around because it was like earthbended too. Yeah, crazy. They just do not care. That was not a hand that was particularly affected by strip mine spam, which is sad. Yeah, this deck was awesome. Taking a look at it. The biggest issue is it just doesn't really interact with what our opponents are doing. We have 1 copy of Fresh Start and 1 Cryptic Command, and those both came in so clutch in a couple of those games. But our opponents get a really wide board out. They get an Avatar Kuruk down early. There's not a lot we can do to stop that stuff. So if we don't do anything super crazy of our own, and we did not in those 3 losses, then they are just going to get ahead. Coolest thing going on with this deck, this was the first time I got I really got a lot of wins with Black Lotus Brain Freeze Underworld Breach. I've never really done that before. That really, really popped off. This is the trio here. That is absolutely absurd. I mean, the Breach, the Brain Freeze, if you have the Breach, the Brain Freeze gets to dig for the Lotus to get that combo going, which is sick. So if you draw like the first 2, that's like the really big part, and then this finds the 3rd part, like we did in one of our wins. We had the Freeze find the Lotus. The Tamiyo is really, really good with these 3 because Tamiyo is filling your graveyard, digging you 4 cards closer to any piece of the combo, and because the way the combo works, Breach is the only one you need in your hand. If Tamiyo finds these 2, it doesn't matter which ones she's milling. So Tamiyo was really nice, and Tamiyo also gave us the redundancy of being able to pick up an Underworld Breach that got milled at an earlier time. Like, there was a game that we discarded an Underworld Breach or surveilled an Underworld Breach, and in those positions, Tamiyo was great. So that was probably the spiciest thing going on in this deck. The Underworld Breach Lotus Freeze combo is really, really good. But what I will say was a pretty big overperformer. I don't think we ever really got blown out by show and tell, which is something that usually happens quite often. We did have some show and tells that weren't like the greatest, like when our opponent played the Glorybringer off of it, and we played the Atali. But overall, we never like played show and tell and then just immediately died because we played it, which is something that happens a lot with that card. So that was kind of nice. Flash was pretty great, so we got a lot of Primus, Cruelty, and Vaultborn and Atali stuff going on with that. Was consistently working pretty well for us. Any big underperformers? Anything that didn't really do anything? I mean, Formidable Speakers, pretty filler. Revokers, pretty filler. We had a lot of Revokers sitting there not being able to really do any blocks. The stat line's just really bad. Seed Shark was literally a 3-mana 2/4. I don't think we flipped a single Incubator. So this deck was far from perfect. I'm happy it got where it did. There are a few of these cards that were really, really quite rough, quite bad. And I think if we swapped those out for just a few more pieces of good interaction, we probably would have had a good 7-win deck here if we had just removal spells and counter spells instead of Formidable Speakers, Seed Shark, and Revoker. That might have been the little change that we needed to carry us into the 7th win, turn one of these 3 losses into a victory, and we would have gotten a full trophy run. But hey, still a very fun, very powerful deck, still played out really well for us. We take those. Pretty sweet way to end off the Powered Cube drafts for now, as there is a Lorwyn Eclipsed Arena Direct now happening this weekend. Play Booster Arena Direct, we're going to be playing in some Best of One Sealed, trying to get some more Lorwyn Eclipsed boxes, so stay tuned for that. But as for now, that is going to end today's video. As always, I'd like to thank my patrons and YouTube members for their support, as well as you for watching the video. If you enjoyed it and you're interested in seeing some more, you could always like, comment, and subscribe to tell the YouTube algorithm to send you some more in your recommended feed. If you'd like to support the channel directly, you can check out the Patreon link in the description below. And other than that, as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon for some more Magic Arena.